15, 3, and 3, limited 24 minutes out there in his first action back in quite some time. Of course, you know, the injury recovery for him. Kyrie Irving scored 18 points, did not talk to the media after the game. Let's hear from Kevin Durant on how it felt to be right back on the court.
Yeah, it felt great, you know, to be back in a routine and get back on the floor and feel like a player again, you know. I felt great. You know, everybody's texting, calling, asking me how I'm feeling, and I can't wait till that's over with so I can get back into the swing of things and just feel like one of the guys again, you know. So it was a good first step.
Positive vibes for Durant. Now let's hear from Kyrie Irving. And we thought that joke was going to fall flat. We thought that would fall flat, not like the earth, but it didn't fall flat the way that we thought. Kyrie not talking to the media for the rest of the season. Jay, I want to ask you about this. This is sort of interesting. I know it's not the Warriors of old because they're not going to have Clay, but the very first game of the NBA's regular season, December 22nd, is actually going to pit the Golden State Warriors and the Brooklyn Nets, Durant's old team and his new one. We'll wait to get to December 22nd. What did you make of last night and his long-awaited return?
Well, look, KD, I've been watching him work out throughout the summer. I mean, he's 7 feet tall. He's doing this off the dribble. He can shoot over the top of people. He makes the game look really easy, and I think that we've forgotten how talented he is, one of the most efficient scorers we have in the game. So it was good to see him back on the court do his thing last night. And it just reminded me that when I see this team play, they're like the polished street ball version of an NBA team on that court. Now, granted, the Wizards didn't play with Russell Westbrook. He wasn't on the court with Bradley Beal. But just seeing the way Kyrie and KD and Spencer Dinwiddie and the way that they can operate, it's going to be one of the most exciting styles of basketball that we've seen. But Zubin, the most important point, we just don't want to be a pawn. You just don't want to be a pawn anymore. No more pawns in the sport. And watching Kyrie Irving this year is going to continue to make interesting headlines. I will tell you that.
Key, what do you think?
Oh, well, I mean, I like the fact that Jay said that we forgot about Kevin Durant. I'm like, no, I didn't forget about him, not at all. We saw him a little bit over a year ago. So, you know, it's like this dude is, as long as he's healthy, he's gonna be in that 1, 2, 3 conversation for the best players in the NBA, let alone in the world. I mean, when you think about it. So I certainly, you know, I can't wait till the regular season starts so I can really see him really go. I mean, preseason 15 minutes doesn't really get your beak wet a little bit, but at the end you get a chance to see him play the entire course of 4 quarters of a game. This is the reason that the Brooklyn Nets decided to pay him regardless of what the injury was, because we know what we're getting.
Jay, let me ask you this. I think this is something that's really interesting. When Steve Kerr took over the Golden State Warriors, he essentially said, look, you know, I came like right out of the broadcast booth. I'd never coached any day in my life at the NBA level. He actually used the Summer League and the preseason, obviously no Summer League here. He used the preseason and the Summer League to really bone up. So for a guy like Steve Nash, who essentially comes to the table with all the qualifications that Kerr did, great player, but no real coaching experience, what does this preseason, and I get it's just the preseason for players, what does this preseason mean for Steve Nash?
Well, I think it's just a way for him to find that rhythm, not only with his players, but also with the coaching staff, with Mike D'Antoni, with Jacques Vaughn, who was there last year. So I think building that rapport with them, going through what series of lineups work. You know, who do you play at the end of the first quarter leading into the second quarter? How do you split time between Spencer Dinwiddie and Karis LeVert and Kyrie Irving, all guards that like to play with the balls in their hands? KD at the 5, we heard about that mentioned multiple times. You know, what kind of mismatches in the lineup does that represent with Kevin Durant? And then also, I think that the most important aspect is how fast do you play, Zubin? That's why I said this is going to be one of the most entertaining styles of basketball that you will see this year. They're trying to do something 7 seconds or less. So you're seeing them trying to push the ball down the court, trying to attack right off the bat, regardless of set, and then kind of ease into their offensive set if there's nothing there. So I think all those things, just filling that out, and also for roster spots, who's going to make the team in sorts, but all these things you're going to see being worked out through preseason.
Key, how far do you think they can go? I think Jay said he's looking at least Eastern Conference Finals, possibly NBA Finals. What do you think?
You know, Zubin, I think as long as Kevin stays healthy and Kyrie stays healthy, I think that I would be satisfied seeing them in the Eastern Conference Final and then go from there. There's still some things that need to be worked out on the East Coast side. Is James Harden going to the Sixers? Is James Harden going to go to the Milwaukee Bucks? Like, what's going to happen with that situation, depending on what happens with the rest of the East? I'm safe to say that they're probably going to be in the Eastern Conference Final. Now, look, a lot of Brooklyn Net fans, including JWill, would say anything less than an appearance in the final against the Los Angeles Lakers probably would be a disappointment. And I would certainly agree with that, except I don't know what everybody else in the conference is going to do come these trade deadlines. There's players that's out there, but you gotta tip your hat off to them. They're gonna be a tough out. There's no question about that.
Zubin, I'll tell you this though: can Kevin Durant stay healthy? Can he be durable? We've only seen one player come back off an Achilles injury and was next level as Dominique Wilkins, right? So I think that's really important for this team because he unlocks everything with this unit. Philadelphia is going to be a lot better. Adding Seth Curry, a couple of different pieces to their lineup will help them with JWill Embiid and Ben Simmons. See how that works out. Boston Celtics will be right there. They will be good. The Milwaukee Bucks will be right there. They will be good. But I think this is the Brooklyn Nets season to lose if they don't get to the NBA Finals. It will be looked at as a failure. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.